And welcome to JFP Sports, where fantasy and sports talk lives. Well, Ricky, I was just saying to you that it is freezing out. I think winter is here finally, and in the tri-state area, leaves are blowing, and we're ready to get ready for another Christmas, New Year holiday celebration again.
Yeah, no, it's November 8th, which I think officially means that it's cold for good.
Yeah.
I think we're not going to have any more of these days in the 60s here
Yeah.
in the tri-state area. I think it's more of low 50s, 40s, and then soon we get to Thanksgiving and it's 30s and no one wants to leave their house, but that's okay. That means we watch more sports.
Right. And the weather report, up to date.
Yeah. Exactly.
Also, too, I feel like I'm so gloom and doom because it's like, I feel like life is a big recycling bin. You know, it just goes in a circle and just time
it
just
always
passes
does.
by.
It always does. It's about the process. It's not about where you try to finish, because where you try to finish seems to usually be in the same spot that you originally started in.
Yes,
so it's one big revolving circle, I guess, in the eyes of Mr. Puma.
Yes. Well, folks, we do have a great show for you on tap, like always. We have some news and notes for you, but let's get into some MLB hot stove. I mean, there's a lot of Yankee news out there. The Mets just got a new GM, Brody Van Wagen. And, a lot of Yankee news out there. They potentially linked to Corey Kluber, James Paxton, and, of course, the biggest free agent pitcher out there, Patrick Corbin. Rick, to your thoughts, do the Yankees need one of these guys? And if they do, who should they go get? And the Machado and the Harper talk, do we even need them?
You could always use someone of Machado and Harper's
for the Bronx Bombers.
Quality, yeah. I think, when D. Nanas brought us the question, before we got underway a few hours ago, obviously the answer should be, yeah, anyone can use a guy of Machado or Harper's caliber, but I don't want to look at the starting pitching. I'm going to look at the relief pitching in terms of a way the Yankees should go. I'd love to see a reunion between the Yankees and Andrew Miller. The reason I say that is, look, the Yankees have I think they've gone the way of relief pitching in terms of they're not starting pitching dominant. And I think if you got a guy like Corbin or Kluber, you might have to break the bank. You can get a guy like Andrew Miller who's had his injury issues to help put that bullpen, repiece it. If we look at the Yankees, you have Chapman and you have Betances, but you don't. Britton might be gone. Robertson might be gone. So I think the Yankees, they really, really like to have that bullpen solidified. We saw that. They didn't go after a starting pitcher at the break. Mm-hmm. They got after J. Happ, and I think they'll bring back J. Happ. I personally think that starting rotation, now we know CC is back for another year, which that move I love. For $8 million.
No, it's very uncostly, and Gardy as well.
Right, and Gardy
two guys
as well.
That are a strong presence in the clubhouse.
Right, yeah, and let's be honest, no one was beating this Red Sox team anyway. I'd love to see the Yankees just pretty much refortify what they had, bring that same group back, and see where they can go. Where are you putting Bryce Harper? I
First
think
base.
The guy's never played first base for more than 15 games ever.
The bat is so special.
He hit 260 last year, 270.
He could probably be a cancer, so to speak, in the clubhouse.
He hit 32 home runs and 91 RBIs. Now, granted, we talk. It's kind of funny that Yankee fans talk about the short port and right. If you look in left, it's not all that far. Now, granted, the left center is to the point where it gets deep. That's right. 380, 390, and that's deep. But if we look at the lines themselves, it's not really that much of a difference. So we have to take a look at what the Yankees have and what they need, and I think they need to refortify that bullpen because we've seen guys like Ryan Brazier come in. Porcello pitched well. Kimbrel actually wasn't all that great for the Red Sox down the stretch, but they had the bullpen to do it. And I think the Yankees need to do that more than anything before this Machado or Harper talk gets underway.
No, absolutely. And to your point, Corey Kluber, for me, must get. I know,
that's going to cost a lot.
I know Patrick Corbin, you have to throw money to, but now
that was your guy. Corbin was your guy.
Right, but that was before knowing that Kluber was actually even available. Mm-hmm. When a guy like that is available, you go get him. Mm-hmm. And if it's going to take, giving them back Clint Frazier, maybe packaging him with a young arm in the minor leagues, you got to do it because yes, the Yankee window hasn't been closing, and yes, Cashman talks about championships, but when does it start? This process started in 2016 when they started tearing everything down and rebuilding it, and we've got all the young crop of farmhands down there. But when does it start to turn? Because it has turned in the positive direction, but now it's just that one step. You change the manager, you change the pitching, you changed everything. You went and got a superstar outfielder who was the NL MVP 2 years ago.
Who did play pretty well.
Right. Who did well for New York. He could do better because none of those home runs or statistics were all clutch orientated. They were more tack on.
But we also have to look at it in terms
adjusting to New York. Probably.
Well, that first of all he was a California kid, played for the Marlins his entire life.
Right.
Thought he was gonna be a Marlin for life when he signed that deal. Let's be honest, that's not a deal that many teams can pick up in a trade. And then he comes to New York, so it's cold here in New York. He's got to adjust to the other side.
But Ricky,
all the
I don't want to hear that it's cold. It's cold. What is that supposed to mean?
But he was playing in an indoor ballpark. Bro,
He's getting $300 million.
So who would you rather have, Stanton or Harper? Forget about the money. Who would you rather have long term? I'd much rather have Stanton because Stanton's going to be a team guy. Stanton's also more productive.
No, I gotta agree with you.
Right. Stanton, so what are we arguing? What is the debate here?
I think the fascination with Yankee fans and Harper.
He's always wanted to be a Yankee? I don't care if he's always wanted to be a Yankee.
I think because also he's always wanted to be a Yankee. The outfield positions have always been a historically all-star Hall of Famer caliber guy. Mickey Mantle, Joe DiMaggio.
Stanton doesn't fit that mold?
Right now, no.
He had 42 home runs.
Right, and the eyes of the Yankee fans, Judge could do no wrong and Stanton could do no right.
Well, that's because Judge is one of their own.
Right, of course.
And that's why Gary Sanchez continues to get all these looks. It's because he's one of his own.
Syndrome at the moment where he can't do any right, and if he does do right, he was supposed to do right. So
right. Well,
that would fall for Harper as well.
No, that's the thing. If
Harper were to come.
No, I completely disagree. I think the treatment Harper would get would be much different than the treatment Stanton is getting because I think the Yankee fans always wanted Harper. Okay. Once they saw Stanton come through the doors, which, we don't really know if that's right or wrong. I guess we've got to revisit this in, I don't know, a half a decade or so or whatever.
If it actually worked.
Right, but Yankee fans would have much rather... When they look at the talent, I think Harper's more talented, if we're just looking at pure talent. But at some point, you're at the Nationals, you hit 32 home runs. I mean, I can give you a bunch of guys. Freddie Freeman completely outproduced a guy like Bryce Harper. Paul Goldschmidt, who I think had the worst 2 months ever in his career back-to-back, he outproduced Bryce Harper. So we look at these guys. We look at Bryce Harper, who actually had a powerful bat in Juan Soto, which he hasn't had. Another outfielder, they've been giving him Adam Eaton, and some of these other, I think, clowns. I think Adam Eaton was a clown. I don't really know what Harper's done for Washington ever since, they thought about extending him long term.
Well, Harper, one, brings the iconic superpower of stardom.
Okay,
Juan Soto is Juan Soto, and I believe Juan Soto actually could become a great ball player.
Right, and that's what I'm saying.
He has very, I know it sounds crazy, but kind of Ken Griffey-like tools.
Absolutely.
He hits very easily. The age, the makeup, the hits in big spots. I believe he's going to be a great player. And I think that's what probably could help the Nationals from moving from Harper a little easier.
Well, Soto's not going to ever fill Harper's shoes there. Bryce Harper was one of the...
It's still early.
But you got to look at it. Let's take this a step further. When Bryce Harper was drafted, that was right when the Nationals moved
to D.C.
To D.C. So he's also right around that time. Years. No, so I'm saying, Juan Soto, Bryce Harper was there when the Nationals, the former Expos, were awful. I'm talking like... I'm talking about like the Orioles were this year. Mm-hmm. Juan Soto, no matter if Harper leaves or not, they'll be at least a 500 ball club, you'd assume, or close to it. And they've already established a culture. You have Scherzer, Strasburg. You don't have Gio Gonzalez anymore, but you still have some arms. And, their bullpen's not terrible. They just, they re-up Doolittle. So I'm looking at Soto. I hate to say this, but in America, in the nation's capital, they probably want a Caucasian male, and it might be Scherzer. And it's here in New York too. They, Judge is one of their own. Stanton is one of their own. One of their own. It could be Juan Soto, but they really want Harper back.
I think it's basically on the stardom of Harper, and he brings in a lot of so to speak, all the little fans of nationwide. He has commercials. He's everywhere. Also too. So finishing up this point. So for the Yankees, for me it's Kluber, Corbin, and maybe Machado just because of the DD.
Where would you put Machado?
For me, I'm putting Machado at. Well, here's the thing: am I giving up Andujar for Kluber? And the thing is, if I am giving,
willing to take? You're willing to take on $500 million in contracts right now? No, that's essentially what you're saying.
Right. No, and
along with Stanton.
Stanton's already there. Yes.
Right, and Judge has to get paid at some point.
I heard.
That's $1 billion you're looking at.
We know that the Dodgers are losing Manny Machado. He is not staying.
No, right. He already came out and said that he had a nice run.
Would you be open to the idea of sending Stanton to LA? That's their outfield. They're replacing the bat of Machado, essentially. Sign Machado, get Corbin, Kluber. No,
I don't want Stanton gone. I don't.
You want to give him another shot?
What do you mean another shot? He hit 42 home runs.
No, he didn't hit 42 home runs because if he hit 42 home runs, I would have got my $20 from the guy that I bet it.
How many home runs did he hit? We'll have to get Dean Annis.
37.
37? Are you sure on that number?
Wait.
Before we get Dean,
I was 2 off.
We can look.
No, it's not 42.
I mean,
I'm trying to do this.
It's more. All I know is it's more than Bryce Harper hit. I think that's a given fact.
We'll get Dean. 37.
I mean, we don't. He hit 38 homers and 100 RBIs. Harper was 31 and 92.
Right, so it was more than Harper. I get it, but
and he hit about 11 points lower.
People's projections. I don't like bringing in a big price free agent because now they got to go through that transition period that Stanton went through and A-Rod went through in 2004. It's that year of it could be a wash, but they got through it now.
You can't wait for that. There is no wash. This is New York.
But that does show how special J.D. Martinez was for Boston because as soon as he got in the batter's box for them, he was raking.
Yes. Yes.
And that didn't phase him because usually Boston, New York, those cities could phase you tremendously and the fan and the pressure and all that comes with that contract.
I agree. I also think the expectations for the Red Sox coming in wasn't to win the division. Let's think about that for a moment. Their expectations were to come in second. Their expectations weren't to go on this run. I think JD Martinez, I don't want to say he was a surprise.
No.
Because he was a good hitter.
But I think more than what people thought.
Right. I
coming
think,
to Boston with the pressure, the contract, hitting behind Mookie Betts and Benintendi and all those guys, and to just fit so well like a puzzle piece.
Well, I also think he had a bigger impact on the other guys, like the Mookie Betts of the world and the
big poppy that they lost,
right? And that's what I'm saying. So I don't even think it's what he did so much is the impact,
the presence.
Right? Exactly. He's a professional hitter day in day out. Right, a David Ortiz type of hitter. Now Mookie Betts, Bogarts, Moreland. You bring in Steve Pearce. Benintendi, you now have a guy with a veteran presence that knows how to hit, and it helped, I think, more than the physical stats that he brought to the table. I think it helped more in the clubhouse.
No, absolutely. Moving forward, the New York Metropolitans, okay? Now, these guys, they just got a new GM.
Yeah, who just got on Twitter. How old is this guy?
He's in his early 30s.
I thought isn't he 31? Is he 31?
He's very young.
That's good. So we're gonna have players on the team that are older than the GM. Well, I'm sure that's guaranteed.
Hey, listen, Puma's got a shot now to actually be a GM in his lifetime.
Yeah.
But
based on your fantasy baseball GM this year, you did pretty well.
Yeah.
What'd you finish? 14th out of 16th?
Actually, I finished 14th out of that was a good one.
Yeah, 14th out of 16th, and then I came in second, not to toot my own horn. I came in second on a team I didn't draft. On a team I didn't draft. So basically, I let the computer tell me who I was going to get, and then I finished second. Okay, and you sat there for about few weeks deciding who you wanted, and you finished 14th. I will give you credit, though. You did have the most trades and the most transactions.
I did.
Too bad this isn't one of those leagues where you got to pay for every transaction because you'd be broke. You'd be broke or even more upset to this day. But let's move forward to the Metropolitans. Yeah, right. You're depressed.
Let's keep telling me that. Anyway,
if the Mets, we talked about the Yanks. If the Mets, with their new GM, I don't know anything about them.
Mm-hmm.
If the Mets and their new GM are trying to make a move, who would you like to see them get, or who would you like to think that might actually propel this team forward?
Well, Brody just had a press conference about the two big contracts on the Mets, okay? But the two big contracts are going to be paid out by insurance anyway. So the Mets get to pocket that money. Why? Well, because David Wright isn't officially retired, but they're still paying the contract. Somebody's got to pay the contract, and the insurance claims do that. Yoenis Cespedes, he's probably not going to finish healthy. So there's going to be shocker. So some insurance is going to come into play with that. I think it's all hands on deck for the New York Mets. You have a Peter Alonso coming up. You have Rosario. You could probably build all.
They could bring up Dom Smith. Don't they want more strikeouts than hits?
No. Forget about Dom Smith. If I am them.
Dom Smith.
What a
loser.
Obviously, it's the Yankees. It's the Mets. But you're well under the luxury tax of $189. Go get Manny Machado.
Oh, are you stoned? Are you serious
I'm not
with this
stoned.
guy?
No, listen. I am telling you.
I don't want to
get high off of air. Look, I am telling you. The New York Mets bring in Manny Machado. It makes up for the time that they didn't bring in Alex Rodriguez all those years ago.
Are you
which
kidding
they should
me
have.
with
They
this?
should have. They should have. You put Manny at short, move Rosario to second. It adds a whole dynamic to the lineup.
I'm all for Ahmed Rosario moving.
Well,
for Manny Machado, if we want to rank the teams going into the offseason.
Because they need him more than the Yankees.
Sure, that's fine. The Yankees won 100 games. That's like saying 2 + 2 is 4 and being proud that you wrote, being proud they did mental math without pen and paper. All right, if we look at the NL East, let's rank the teams. I'll let you rank the teams. With your psychotic self, you rank the teams 1 through 5.
Okay.
If you had to put the standings out for the 2019 season.
Okay, obviously Boston Red Sox.
No, the NL East.
Oh, the NL East. Oh, how shot I am. Oh, I thought you said the AL East.
No,
the NL East. Okay, so right now, the worst team in the NL East is the Marlins.
Not by much, but okay.
Okay. The second worst team in 4th place, you're probably looking at the New York Mets.
Okay.
The third team I would say is the Washington Nationals.
Oh, right.
And then the second team I would say is the Philadelphia Phillies and Atlanta.
Or Braves. I think that could be in
either
But
way.
moral of the story, I think we agree. I'll give you 1 and 2 or 2-1. The moral of the story, the Mets are 4th, right?
But I look, yeah.
Okay,
absolutely.
So let me ask you this question. Right, so let me ask you this question. I'm not even going to go on the tangent. I'm going to ask you this question. If you're realistically, I think that's realistic, to say the Mets are probably going to finish 4th, maybe 3rd if they have an unbelievable season. Mm-hmm. You think Manny Machado at, I don't know, $350, $400 million is going to make that much of a difference? The guy hits 4 times.
You finish your point.
No, I'm asking you the question. I'm asking you the question.
Yeah, I understand that. But it's not like you're investing it in a pitcher who pitches 1 to 2 times a week. That's number 1. Number 2 is Manny Machado is known around the league as a pretty decent ball player.
He's also known as a goofball. No, yeah, he's known as a good baseball player. We've never said he's not.
The more you get talented players, the more other talented players would want to come play.
No, this isn't basketball.
No, but
no.
But you see, the Mets have nobody. They have the pitchers. They have DeGrom, Syndergaard, and then who?
Losers.
That's why.
So you have 2 pitchers.
Not that I'm saying one man is going to change everything.
That's what you're saying, though.
And 3, you got to appease the fans. It would put them to,
they've already got the fans already don't like their organization because they could have traded DeGrom.
It's a business first. They should go get. This is their deals right now. Go get Manny Machado and sign Jacob DeGrom. That's what you do.
Okay. I'll go the other way, and I'll go the realistic and simplistic.
Oh, and you're keeping them. By the way, I don't want to overtalk you. You keep them away from the Philadelphia Phillies, who have more money than God right now. And could you imagine seeing Manny Machado 18 times a year in your own division?
What does that have to do with anything?
He's a great baseball player.
You're going to finish 4th anyway. I don't care if he goes
play. The game's played on the field.
I don't care if he goes to play for the Toledo Mud Hens in AAA.
Okay, but you can't. Okay, it doesn't look good for them right now. But
who? For the Mets?
For the Mets. But in 2015, going into 2015, people thought the Mets were going to be in last place. They ended up going to the World Series.
That was 2015, and no one. First of all, no, you didn't. But you didn't know what you. First of all, you didn't know what you were getting. Let me bring up two storylines. You didn't know what you were getting in DeGrom. You didn't know what you were getting
coming off of the Rookie of the Year.
Right, you didn't know what you were getting in DeGrom, and you didn't know what you were getting in Syndergaard. Let's also, to my second favorite Met moment. The first Met moment is Luis Castillo dropping the ball on the A-Rod pop-up. That's my first favorite. The second favorite is, excuse me, Wilmer Flores crying out at shortstop because he thought he was traded in the middle of the game. Do you remember that?
Yes, I do.
And that's when they try to get and they try to get Carlos Gomez.
Yeah,
and instead they got Cespedes. And Flores was crying in the middle of the field, right? And they got Cespedes, and Cespedes went on a complete tear.
No, that's a good bring-up, yes.
Toward the end of the season. So now you have a banged-up Cespedes, a DeGrom who says he wants to be there. Let's be honest, Jacob DeGrom, do you really want to be there? Really? Your team's going to finish fourth. I don't want to... Syndergaard really hasn't pitched a full season in, 3 years? I don't want to hear about this Met team with Manny Machado. I think it's $400 million down the drain. If I'm going to give you a guy who...
$350 with a 1-year opt-out.
1 year opt-out? What's the point?
1 or 2 year opt-out.
What's the point?
Well, you got to get kind of creative here if you're the Mets. You have to have your fans want to come to the ballpark.
Now, what if Manny Machado got hurt? Basically, what you're saying... I know.
That could happen to everybody.
No. But it's different when you give someone a year opt-out and he signs a 3-year deal for someone who's going to sign a 9 or 10-year deal, and you're going to owe $300 million. The last thing they need is a David Wright. Knock on wood. David Wright had something that's a lot different than a typical
I believe
injury.
in if you play tentative, you're not gonna win. If you don't play to win, you're never gonna win.
Does this move realistically? Before I give you finally my player, does this team make the Mets a playoff team, a contender
with the Manny Machado?
Yes,
I believe.
Yes or no? No. Yes or no?
Yes.
Okay. Well, then you're just out of your mind.
No. Listen, Rick. There's 2 wild card spots. Okay. There's no.
So I guess the Cubs, Cardinals. The Cubs. The Cubs. Cardinals, Brewers, Dodgers, Rockies, Padres, who I think are getting better. Braves, Nationals, and Phillies. All right, I guess all of a sudden the MLB is going to say, well, because the Mets got Machado, we're going to make 6 wild card spots.
No, absolutely not. But I feel like this would give them an energizer.
Well, I'm going to give you my energizer. A player, in all seriousness, a really good player for this team last year. I think the Mets need to go after guys like Steven Piscotty.
Okay.
Young. Oakland. Pretty young, versatile, right. The A's will give him up. They'll let him walk. Those are guys now, they're not sexy names. They're not Machado. They're not Harper, who I'd much rather
But, Rick, I'm trying to sell seats here. But
Manny Machado's not selling you season tickets.
I could beg to differ.
So let me get this straight. I understand. I'm not throwing out the sexy name in the Piscotty or a guy like a Ben Zobrist. It's guys like that, glue guys.
Yeah, Pete Rose. Yeah, go on.
Is Ben Zobrist not good?
No, he's good. He's just...
What?
He's good.
Right. Okay, fine. And you're talking about Manny Machado. The last time we saw Manny Machado, he was stepping on Jesus Aguilar's back foot.
Oh, come on.
That's not the first time he's done that.
I'm not going to hold that.
But anyway, no, in all seriousness, first of all, you know in New York that'll become an issue if he does it again. That's first of all. Second of all, the Mets are not a playoff contender. If you're sitting here saying, look, Steven Matz is a superstar, Zach Wheeler's a superstar, and Harvey's still here, and he's dueling, and he's dominating, then I'm with you. Then maybe you need a bat or two. And maybe Cespedes would actually be inclined to play. You look at this Met team, their starting pitching top to bottom is about a B, and their offense is about a D. So unless Manny Machado can hit 15 times a game, it's not worth it. But sure, you go get Manny Machado, and you could sell 500 more season tickets. It'll be worth the $350 million you give him, and then he can opt out after 3 years to go to the Cubs or something like that. Right, it's a business. Moving on to... something a little more current. Our must starts here, and I think we're in week 10. Week 10, folks. Double-digit week.
For the NFL season.
Yeah, for the NFL season. Must start for you. Who's your must start?
For me, folks, it's Greg Olsen, tight end of the Carolina Panthers. He came back 2 weeks ago.
He's starting to get hot.
Yeah, he is hot. He's big red zone target for Cam Newton. When they're down there, they're doing full house, and basically what that is
they've got a lot of bunch of formations.
Right, they do a lot of bunch formations, and full house is just a quarterback with 2 running backs or a halfback in between. And when Cam's getting that ball, he's 90% taking it in. But if he decides to throw, he's going to Greg Olsen.
Yeah. I think
Pittsburgh.
One of their biggest moves in the NFC of the offseason, was North Turner. Helping out Cam Newton. He's, in my opinion, the second best quarterback whisperer. I'll give that honor to Andy Reid.
Yeah. Fat Andy, definitely.
I don't care what Andy's doing. He's doing something right. No, I like Greg Olsen. The only thing I worry about is they're just, they gave the ball to Alex Arma last week. You don't know what the Panthers are thinking sometimes, but I like Greg Olsen, especially between the 20s. Right. My guy is Tyler Boyd. I've heard a lot of different mixed feelings. Tyler Boyd is going to be without A.J. Green. Knock on wood, A.J. Green looks like he's missing at least 2-3 games. No surgery, so he's not done for the season. And it's a foot bruise. It's a toe-foot bruise, so you kind of have to see how that's going to play along. Tyler Boyd will get to see him as a number 1 wide receiver for Andy Dalton. He will be a target monster. The question is, he will see Marshawn Lattimore this week. He's played a lot of 2 receiver sets, 3 receiver sets in the slot. We're going to see what he does. But I'm going to start him for the pure volume alone. If I can make a wager somewhere, I'd say he gets the most targets in the league this week. They're decimated with Eifert. Gio Bernard just started practicing again. You might see a lot of Joe Mixon, who I'm back and forth on, but I think a lot of Joe Mixon and a lot of Tyler Boyd. Let's talk about some guys who we're not as high on. You go first. Who are you not?
For me, it's the Eagles' Wendell Smallwood, and you people.
What a bust!
Yeah, you folks out there must be like, well, why is Puma bringing up Wendell Smallwood, a guy in a timeshare role with the Philadelphia Eagles? Well, it's just for this matter. There's a lot of buys going on, and Wendell has been getting the looks. He has been getting the reps, but he's just playing a Dallas defense who's been very stout. If anything, I think this is a Zach Ertz, Alshon Jeffrey game with Carson Wentz. But other than that, I don't see – and you always have to worry about the Corey Clement situation down the goal line. They love to give it to Corey Clement. And I think Sproles is back.
Yeah, no, he actually re-aggravated his hamstring today.
Okay.
Today. So
I still wouldn't play Wendell.
No. I completely agree. Isn't that just we're both having good fantasy seasons, of course, but isn't Wendell Smallwood a guy you had picked up and used?
Yeah, I did.
Right, and then you did the same with Kenyon Barner too, right?
Yeah, fudged them both.
Right, okay.
I still owe you a high chew.
Right, which we'll get after this. The guy I'm going to sit, and again, I've heard a lot of conflicting reports, Adrian Peterson. Adrian Peterson usually does the best when everyone says he shouldn't. Now that people are saying
right.
No, it's serious.
You're
true.
Right. Though.
And now that he should do something, I feel like he won't.
No.
I also, in all seriousness, though, they're down at least 3 starting linemen this week. Might be 4. We know the Buccaneers are going to throw it all over the yard, for sure. The Buccaneers will score. What that means is they might be down points. I think this might be a big Capri Bibbs type of game. In terms of, I want to say it's a Jordan Reed game. We can't say that because we don't even know if he'll make it through the whole game. And if he does make it through the whole game, his rapport with Alex Smith stinks. So I would stay away from anyone on the Redskins. Adrian Peterson, if you need him in an RB2 situation with the buys, I think there might be at least 4 or 6 teams already still on the buy, which is over soon in a few weeks. But I'm sitting Adrian Peterson for sure.
Okay, so that's our starts and sits. Moving on, Mr. Dez Bryant, the X. Throw up the X.
Throw up the X.
He's back. Now, Rick, with this new addition to the Saints, are they a favorite to win it all? I mean, look at that offense right now.
Not at all.
Wow. Why do you say that?
Because what I saw, they were up 35-17 last week to the high-flying Rams, and the Rams came all the way back. Mm-hmm. What that proved to me was if the Saints don't have home field advantage and they have to go outdoors to L.A., it's going to be a problem. You're not beating the Rams twice. You're just not doing it. Hopefully they get Aqib to lead back and Marcus Peters actually plays like Marcus Peters, the one in Kansas City. Do I like the Saints offense? I do. I don't like their defense. We don't like any of it. It's weird. I don't like one out of all these teams who could put up points, not one defense looks anything remotely decent to me. So we'll see a Super Bowl. I'm sure the winning score will be in the high 30s or maybe 40s. But look, anytime you have Drew Brees throwing to a guy like Dez Bryant, who's healthy and has fresh legs, it's going to make them better. Solid. Yeah. They don't have the best wide receiver too. They've been Cam Meredith is on the IR. Ted Ginn, Traquan Smith is their best, but he hasn't been much. They're relying on like Benjamin Watson, not who you really want to be. So
Mr. Ben Watson.
Yeah. So throwing up the X, Mr. Dez Bryant should make them better. He'll be fresh. I'm worried about what he does to the locker room. Is he one of those guys who says, "Oh, I'm not getting the ball enough"? Or is he one of those guys that says, look, I'm here for, it's November 8th. I'm here for six and seven more games and then whatever postseason run. Realistically, Dez Bryant's there for 2.5 months. So I don't like them anymore. I hate to say it. I like them as the second best team in the league, in the NFC, but I don't like them as the first. So I don't like them any more than I did. It helps them a little bit, but For me,
I would have concentrated at least get another defender.
They tried to do that in Eli Apple, and he's certainly just not the answer.
Nah, he's not the answer. You and I could run a route on him.
No, I don't understand. They were Eli Apple. Did they watch him in New York, or were they looking at his Ohio State tape?
I told you how the Saints play defense when we were talking our production meeting, and it's the Saints play defense basically off their offense.
It's a bend, don't break.
Right. The offense scores a ton of points, and now we could blitz the hell out of you with DeMario Davis and Davenport.
Mm-hmm. Who's been hurt, who's actually hurt. But
talented kid.
Very talented kid. One of the steals of the draft. Yeah. What do you think? You still like the Rams better than them?
Yes, because if it comes push to shove and we have to go into L.A., it's all Rams. I think this is basically on home field advantage. Right. Like you pointed out last week, that if they come to the Dome, it's going to be a Saints kind of shootout.
I trust the Rams to win in New Orleans more than I trust New Orleans to go win in LA. Now, granted, the LA, they don't have the best of fan bases. Just there's a lot of things to do. The Rams are still relatively new. I don't know. The Chargers, I guess, are LA too. There's but at the same time, I don't like the Saints to beat them twice. I kind of always thought that whoever won the first game would lose a potential playoff game. That Chiefs-Rams game, though, is going to mean a lot. Because if the Chiefs lose, now they'll have 2 losses with Tom Brady's Patriots, and then they have to go to Foxborough at the end of the season. If the Rams lose, they lost their tiebreaker. Like, we think, in my opinion, the best teams in each league have lost to the second best teams, so they really need to focus and keep that first place in the league, because if they slip up anytime, they might have to go to that second place team, aka the Chiefs going to Foxborough, or the Rams going to New Orleans. So I think we kind of say Dez Bryant makes them slightly better. Right? But they're not the second best. They're still second best in the league, right?
I agree with you. But in the whole league, I'd say right now, if I had to give my top 3, it would be New England.
In that order? Are we going in order?
In order. New England, Saints, Rams. Then Chiefs, and then...
I would go Rams, Chiefs, Patriots. That Chiefs team in Arrowhead, now I'm going to assume the game's in Arrowhead, Tom Brady's not making it out of there. We got to look at this Chiefs defense.
Are you kidding me?
Justin Houston is back.
Yeah.
He'll play this week for the first time in a while. They also, hopefully, knock on wood, and I give this man a lot of credit, Eric Berry, what he's gone through injury-wise and battling his illnesses. If he can make it back,
yeah, that would be a big addition.
It's a huge,
but where's the game?
Huge addition. No, and I'm saying the game's in Arrowhead.
Okay.
If the Chiefs win out, the game is in Arrowhead. Tom Brady's not getting out of Arrowhead with a win in the playoffs. I just don't believe it. But
I'm just so used to Andy being the nowadays Marty Schottenheimer, where they have the greatest team on turf, and it's just
but
they can't finish.
He upgraded with Alex Smith over Patrick Mahomes, but we'll have to see. That's looking down the road. 3 games this weekend. How do you want to do this? You want to go? I'll go 3. You go 3. You want to split?
I'll do my 3. You do your 3.
All right, perfect.
Okay, so my 3 are the Pats.
Who?
-7 at Tennessee.
At Tennessee.
I think they will. It's one of those games where it's Belichick's protege, and we're not going to have a Patricia game where I
don't think they'll let that happen.
It's the Tennessee Titans. They're going into Tennessee. I don't care if they're playing on the moon. -7. Yeah, they're going to score 10 or more.
Right, and let's be honest. I don't know if we trust the Titans to score.
My second game actually leads into tonight's next segment, which is -3.5 for the Steelers. I think the Steelers win. It's at Heinz Field.
They've been rolling. One of the hottest teams in football.
I think it's a big, big, big Antonio Brown game because I believe James Conner. You're going to have Luke Kuechly in the box.
You think Luke Kuechly is going to affect the way they're running the football right now?
A little bit.
James Conner has been
I'm not saying he won't get a touchdown. I just think that Brown will get 2 touchdowns.
Well, you know what the thing is? Antonio Brown has 6 touchdowns. I think it's kind of weird he doesn't have the volume. He's been scoring the touchdowns. So at some point, fantasy owners have to look at it like if you take the touchdowns away from Antonio Brown, he hasn't been great. But he is scoring the touchdowns. I just don't know if he can keep that pace up. But, all right. You got the Pats, the Steelers, and who's your last game?
And my final game.
I saw this, and I'm going to let you tell our viewers because I almost threw up.
Okay. It is +16.5 Arizona.
Are you sure it's not Alabama playing the Bills?
No.
That would be a nice game.
It's in Arizona. I know the Patrick Mahomes show is coming.
It's not.
I don't care if they're playing on the moon.
It's in Arrowhead.
It's in Arrowhead. Patrick Mahomes, he's home. Okay. And the Arizona Cardinals, nobody expects anything from them. Bettors, all you got to do is keep the game close. I'm not saying Arizona's going to win. I'm just saying that Kansas City might win by 10. They might win by 14. But I don't see them winning by 17. And the Arizona defense is very underrated. Very underrated.
You know who was also underrated or decent? Well, how bad was I? Can we say I was right on him? I told you he was going to stink. You liked him.
I still like him. It's year 1.
He stinks.
It's year 1, Rick.
Okay. Sure, it's year 1. Yeah, it's year 1 for Darnold, too.
Holy moly.
Darnold's leading the league in interceptions.
I told the viewers. It's year 1.
Like I told the viewers. I told the viewers.
Like it's year 1 for Baker Maker, the touchdown maker.
No, I'm in all seriousness, right now, moving forward, from what you've seen, would you rather have Baker Mayfield or Sam Darnold? I'd much rather have... No.
Sam Darnold.
Off what you've seen so far.
Sam Darnold.
Oh, then we're not watching the same games. All right. I'll give you 4 bets. I'm going to give you 4 bets because you threw out the Chiefs game and it's a high line. I don't see how the Cardinals are going to cover. Look.
It's high, Rick.
And that's the thing that's scary. I don't have this as one of my top 3 plays. I don't believe the Cardinals will ever stop the Chiefs. No, seriously, if the Chiefs get the ball 7 times, I expect them to score at least a field goal every single time.
Right.
So I would take that, but that's not one of my plays. One of my plays, the Bengals +5.5, they're home against the Saints. And the Steelers should win tonight, which I hope will inspire the Bengals to have to go out there and win. Look at New Orleans. They've been hot. They're on fire. Everyone, the Saints, Dez Bryant, this, that. Cincinnati, not the easiest place to go to. It's outside. It can get nasty. I'll take the Bengals. I'll also take the Falcons on the road at -5.5 at Cleveland. Look at what Cleveland did against the Chiefs. Not all that much. Against a bad Chiefs defense, let's be honest. They're not very good.
Right.
Matty Ryan and Julio Jones, they hooked up for their first touchdown. Expect more of that. Julio Jones has been on fire. Matt Ryan... You can make the argument if they weren't 4-4 and they were 6-2, something along that line, he would be in the MVP candidate. So I'll take the Falcons -5.5. And maybe the worst game in football, I'm going to take the San Francisco 49ers -3 against the stupid New York Football Giants. Are you kidding me? -3. Nick Mullins looks like the second coming of Jimmy Garoppolo.
Man,
if I'm Bill Belichick, I might trade 2 first-round picks to go get Nick Mullins out of Southern Miss.
Yeah.
Don't hate on the Southern Miss Golden Eagles down there in Conference USA.
Yeah, don't hate.
Meanwhile, what did I tell you last week about San Francisco and Oakland?
I don't know. A lot has passed since then, but go on.
What I told you, no. In all seriousness, you said you liked the Raiders because of Nick Mullins.
Yeah, I'll never like them again.
No. Did you take that? We're here in New Jersey. Did he make a legal wager?
Hell no, I did not take that. Thank God I forgot.
No. But in all seriousness, when the teams are so bad, you just don't know. No, and I'm serious. Like they're inconsistent. You don't know what you're gonna get. Like the Raiders have just completely quit.
Watch them win this week.
Right, and that's what I'm saying. Like this game, I gave you the Giants. They could easily win this game against San Francisco. Like we just don't know. I would like to take the 49ers, and I think Nick Mullins might actually be decent, but when the teams are so bad and so inconsistent, you just don't know. Like the Bills-Bears under last week, 37.5. The Bears scored, I think, 2 or 3 defensive touchdowns.
Yeah.
So and the over cleared easily because of
Peterman have a job?
Look, I was not a Geno Smith fan. Geno Smith is 45 times better than Nathan. Nathan Peterman wasn't good at Pittsburgh in college. At the University of Pittsburgh. Now, maybe what they thought, and in all seriousness, maybe that Big Ben plays at Heinz Field. Maybe they thought if they had the same sort of like ketchup or Heinz mustard that Nathan Peterman in the stadium, that maybe it would transfer over to Nathan Peterman. If this guy was throwing on 7-on-7, he still wouldn't complete passes. I've never seen a more inept quarterback in my life. The worst quarterback performance when he had 5 interceptions in the first half against I think it might have been the San Diego Chargers because this might have been 3 years ago. I don't know how he has a job, but all right, we're going to round it out. You already told me who you got. It's Steelers, Carolina, but give me a little bit more. Give me a prediction. How do you think it's going to play out? You said Steelers -4, so tell me how it's going to play out.
So for our next segment, obviously, it's Steelers, Carolina tonight, Thursday Night Football. It's in Heinz Field. They're probably going to be wearing all the black.
With those crazy, terrible towels or whatever they got.
I mean, listen, all you got to do is just visit Heinz Field and know that it is a Steeler country. You know, one of the best home fields in the sport.
Yeah.
You know, the defense hasn't been playing so
They've been better,
bad,
though. They've gotten better.
I think it's more because that offense, Big Ben, he rises to the occasion at Heinz Field, plays his best football.
He's a nice play this week. If you've got him, if you have a few buys, he's a nice play. I say 3
touchdowns for him tonight. One to
he's a nice
Connor.
Play.
The other
James Conner, boy, has he been on fire. If we're looking at the top 3 running backs, and I'm not tooting my own horn, I would have to say James Conner, Kareem Hunt, and Todd Gurley.
No, and I wouldn't disagree with you.
Todd Gurley would be first.
Where's my boy Alvin Kamara then?
Alvin Kamara has been there too, but he had a nice 41. I'm talking over the last month or so. Alvin Kamara definitely in that top 4. I know he's like
splitting carries and all, but
no. I love Alvin Kamara. I also like him coming out of the backfield. He's a weapon.
Yeah.
But
receiving.
Connor, Hunt, Kamara, and certainly Todd Gurley, they are just blowing it out. So you like the Steelers? Give me a score.
I'm gonna say.
I have a feeling where you're gonna go.
You know what? Call me crazy. 40-35.
No. Cam Newton and this bunch are not putting up 35 points. I don't think there are enough possessions because the Panthers will definitely try to establish the run and keep it low scoring.
I just see one of those shootouts. How about you? What do you think?
Look, the way the Panthers are playing right now, it's tough for me for the Steelers to give up 4. If I was in Vegas or at a local sports book, I would try to bring the line down a little bit to maybe 2.5. I'm going to say Steelers 31, Panthers 20.
Okay.
I think that's an over. I think that's the. I don't know if it's the over or not.
Well, you know which one Puma's taking, but.
Well, you're taking the right. You're definitely taking the over. I think the line.
I think it's at 50 or 52.
Dean Annis is actually telling us right now. Of course, the communication between Dean Annis and myself
he's
is
still thinking of the Rays.
No, again, yeah. I don't know why he's still thinking of the Rays. It's 51. Finally, the communication.
I thought it was 52, yeah.
So I guess
to win.
if 52 to win. I guess I would take the over, but I'm going to go 31. 20 Steelers, but I'm just a little wary of that 4. I wouldn't be surprised if it's one of those games at the end where they score a meaningless touchdown or something like that.
And get Puma the over.
Right, exactly. It would help over, but.
Okay, folks. Well, that's our show for today. Please subscribe to JFP Sports on YouTube channel, and please add us on IG at JFP Sports. Just know that you could DM us, and we will answer your questions on air. So, folks, in the great words of Dr. Seuss, don't cry because it's over. Smile because it happened. Till next time.